I would like to start off playing a little game. By a show of hands, who here has had a sip of rum this weekend? Don't be shy. Oh, looks like a lot of you. Okay, maybe not. Chocolate. What about chocolate? Hands up. Keep the hands up. Ooh, really? Wow. All right, if that didn't get you, coffee and tea. Hands up. Wow. Okay, that's everybody. Okay. So all of these products, and many more in this room, they all got here on a ship. So what is the environmental impact of all this transportation of our favorite goods? I can tell you, and the statistics, they're frightening. In terms of global greenhouse gas emissions, if the shipping industry was a country, they'd be the 6th largest polluter on the planet. That's ahead of Germany and Canada. But I'm not here to point out the shortcomings, the major shortcomings of the shipping industry. I'm here to talk about the idea to put cargo under sail. My name's Decosse. I'm from North Vancouver, Canada. And years ago, I decided to take a step back from my career. I was going to go traveling and I was going to look for new opportunities. I ended up in Berlin, bright-eyed and looking for a project to really get involved with. But it didn't work out for me. Just Club Mate, really. But one night, months on, I decided to go online and look for a project. And I found this guy, and he wanted to rebuild a 1920 schooner ship named the Aventure with the idea to put cargo back under sail. I thought this was radically traditional. I loved it. I thought it was wild. And so the next morning, I packed up half my stuff and I was heading out to Elsfleth, which was close to the city of Bremen. I admit neither I had ever heard of. So there I was on the train, really excited, get into Elsfleth, farms for days coming in, and this guy, Cornelius Bockerman, shows up. He looks at me and something was off right away. I was like, oh, nothing had gone right in his day. Everything was terrible. Oh, it was going terribly wrong, and we were going to have a rum that night. Okay. So here I am, excited to get in, and we're going to go have a rum tonight. Right, okay, sounds good. So that night, we're sipping a rum, and he starts to tell me why he started this project called Timber Coast. He had worked his whole career in the shipping industry, and there he saw firsthand the negative effects the shipping industry was having on the environment, and he knew it was time to act. You can't just wait. And so he purchased the ship, and his plan was twofold. He was going to work with the workers at the shipyard in Elsfleth, but also he was going to put out the call to volunteers. Anyone who was willing to give their time and expertise to make this come true. So one by one, people such as myself, we started to come. From every corner of the world, we had welders from Argentina, we had sailors from Denmark, we had carpenters from Israel, we had shipbuilders from within Germany, we had architects from Australia, we had travelers from Hong Kong, and we had recent grads from the UK, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And throughout this project, we ended up having 160 volunteers from 26 different countries come together. And at this point, it had moved away from being a project and into a movement. But it wasn't easy. Each and every day, whether it was summer or winter, we had to show up to work. We woke up early, and we got on our bikes, and we rode to the shipyard. And it wasn't as if once we arrived, we were just going to twiddle our thumbs and, oh, I'm going to go work on that, and I'm going to bang a hammer over there. No, we were there. We had a schedule and a deadline. The plan was to build the ship in 6 months. We worked really hard to make that happen. But that day came and went. We turned our eye to 12 months. We put everything into it. We got to 12 months. We didn't get it. The finances were at an all-time low. But we bonded together and we pushed on. And after 18 months of work, that day finally came. We finished. We had looked at each other in astonishment thinking, did we actually just do this? Like, did this project just end? It was going to be endless, but we did it. We have a cargo hold that can carry 120 tons of cargo. On that day we finished, and in that time we were rebuilding, we approached many companies, loads of companies with terrific track records. They import organic, fair trade goods, sustainably harvested. They know their entire supply chain. But sail cargo and clean transportation wasn't a part of that conversation. No matter, we decided to sail. We decided to source our own rum. We needed it. That's what actually happened. That is actually what happened. So there we are. We get into the Canary Islands. We had found this family distillery that had allowed us to buy 3 barrels of rum off them. It was a glorious day. There we were. Woo! We're doing it. We're sail cargo. And then we had 2 supporters out of Bremen who decided they were going to start a coffee company just so we could sail back some coffee for them. They asked us to go to Honduras for 20 tons of organic coffee. Our crew on board made it their mission. They sailed across the Atlantic Ocean 3 months, all the way to the commercial port of Puerto Cortes. We were so excited to be there and so proud to be there. We had just rebuilt our 44-meter sail cartridge with 9 sails. Here we are coming into a commercial port. We were tiny. There we were. We come in and there's this giant container ship, 400 meters long and can carry 200,000 tons of cargo. They laughed at us. They looked at us and were like, okay, all right. Right on. And we're like, okay. So we come into port, and surely we start to tell them what we're all about. We want to move away from depending on fossil fuels to transport our goods. And to do that, we're rebuilding the ship as a message. And surely, one by one, they started to think, okay, yeah, let's do this. And so there we were, our crew and those in Puerto Cortes loading hand by hand 290 sacks of coffee onto the ship. It was an incredible feeling. And then we were off. We were heading back to Germany. 5,000 nautical miles on a standard container ship that could take as short as 11 days. Took us 3 months. Take it in. So our crew had to go through all sorts of conditions, from dead calms to fierce storms. They sailed across the Caribbean Sea and over the Atlantic Ocean. They were to arrive in Bremen. We had absolutely no idea what was awaiting us there, whether people even cared. I mean, here we are with 114 tons on this mission, but is it really important? To us, it was. And as it turns out, when we came in that day into the harbor in Bremen, the banks were lined up with people. They were cheering us on. We had an entire group, an entire community that had come together to help us unload our coffee. It was an image that we will never forget. So there we are. We just arrived. We started unloading the coffee onto trolleys, and loading it onto cargo bikes, which we moved all of the 290 bags and rum back to the warehouse. It was a day those volunteers that were there and had sailed across could never forget. We had done it. And in that, it became clear that maybe, just maybe, this could be a catalyst for change. Maybe we can get people to reflect on just how far their goods are coming and what the impact that is having on the environment. Now we know with our Aventure and cargo under sail, we're just a drop in the ocean compared to commercial shipping. but us and similar projects to ours, we believe that if we can attract the cargo and raise the awareness, then we can warrant bigger, more modern ships that do not rely on fossil fuels to take our products to us. So I've spent the last 2.5 years investing all of my time alongside many people from within Germany and plenty from around the planet in this idea, in this ship. And I can tell you now that I have a whole new understanding and appreciation of how far our favorite goods must come. And I know now that we can demand more from products like chocolate, coffee, and tea. Thank you very much.